And we are live. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing today? We've been having technical difficulties and still having some technical difficulties, but the show must go on. And you guys know the drill. This is what we do every week. We get an entrepreneur and we sit him on the hot seat, and then we take them back to their younger, earlier days when they were facing their biggest challenges and struggles. And we talk about their difficulties and how they overcame them to become the entrepreneurs that they are today.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
today I have a very special guest with me, Tanya Jameson, but we'll be right back in 1 second. Okay, we're back.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So happy to be here.
How are you?
I'm so great. Thank you. Awesome to be here. Really appreciate that you're taking your time to have me.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. So why don't you tell everyone? Everyone knows you already, Tanya. Tell us what you do, and then we'll start.
Awesome. So I do kind of a mix of massage therapy. I studied some psychotherapy as well, and so it's a bunch of modalities kind of mixed together for healing purposes, trying to help people through anxiety and muscle tensions and injuries, using plant medicines and whatever products I can find that can really boost people's immunities and all the mental, physical, spiritual things that we're confronted with daily. So that's my job.
Well, that's fantastic because I believe that's where we're headed today. We need to take care of our bodies in a different way, more than just a pill and a surgery. We need to take care of ourselves as a whole because we are mind, body, and soul beings. And as mind, body, and soul, we have to take care of everything. That means the inside. And sometimes we have a tendency of like, okay, well, I need to lose weight, and we go on crash diets. Or, I want to work out because I want to look good in my bathing suit, and we'll just hit the gym for, the 2 months so we look good for the summer, and then it's all over then. And we have a tendency of doing things like this, and we want the quick fix. But the body doesn't work that way because the body works from the inside out. And that's why I love all these new modalities and being able to use plant medicines and herbs and stuff like that, because that's the way that we're supposed to take care of our bodies. We're organic, we're nature, we're part of nature. So it works much better than a pill. But before we talk about what you do in detail and how you got into it, we got to take you back.
Yes.
So you got to let us know how it is that you got to this today.
Sure.
How did your journey start?
So basically it started in Canada, in the prairies of Alberta, growing up on a farm, feeling very isolated. The winters were very trying for me. I found it really, really difficult to get through the season, through the cold, lack of sunlight, that vitamin D that a lot of us are really lacking, but especially in those northern places where you're just not getting the sun, you're stuck indoors. And unless you have the freedom to have skidoos and all the toys to be outside skiing, and I didn't have all of that available to me. So that was one of the challenges, being in a place where I just didn't feel happy because of that environment. Plus, growing up in a small town has its own challenges. It's a very small, cliquey place, so anything you've ever done, follows you forever. And it's tough to be haunted by your past and every angle, all the time.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're in high school. You break up with someone, everybody finds out, something happens or a friend talks bad about you and everyone's, secret, and it just stays with you. I used to think it's like in a like when you play tennis in that racquetball room and then you just hit it and it just comes at you no matter what and you can't escape it.
Right.
It feels like that. So what challenges did you have? Like, what was the biggest thing? Was it with friends? Was it with relationships? Was it uh, social status? What was the biggest problem like that you had?
I think, just feeling like I didn't really fit in all the time. It's tough. You'd go from being super popular to being the nerd, depending on the group's feel for the day, and just not really resonating with any of that, the clickiness and popularity contests. And, my family were great, but if you just don't feel like you're fitting in the, even in the spiritual ways, I grew up with a religion, and it was nice to have that foundation, but it still didn't completely resonate with me. And so there were a lot of facets that just made me feel like I wasn't in my place, and that I just wasn't happy where I was, planted. And they say bloom where you're planted, but sometimes that's difficult to do.
Yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult. And how did you deal with it? How did you cope with it? Because I know that that's something that's really, really, really big for someone being young. And I understand that when you're part of something, but yet you don't feel like it. It's the craziest thing. It's like being at a party where everyone's dancing and having this time, and you're just sitting there and you feel so alone.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
and then everyone tells you you're not supposed to be alone. You're supposed to be having fun, and you're like, but I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. So that became a real challenge for me, making connections with people in a way that were deep and I want to say spiritual, but it's not even at that age. It wasn't about that. It was just feeling like being understood and being around people that kind of got me. And so I didn't handle it well. Actually, I started hanging out with just the kind of the bad rebellious crowd, and skipping school, and getting into risky behaviors, and just doing things because that were not good for me, because I just didn't feel like I had a passion or a drive or the abilities to launch myself into a direction that I could feel good about. So I just kind of got sunk deeper and deeper into this, in the cyclical depression and all of that. It became very overwhelming, actually.
And how did you start coping with that? How did you cope with that? Um, did it affect your relationships that you were having, like personal relationships when you started dating? Did you notice that this made it difficult for you, like communicate or to have deep relationships? Where was the biggest struggle when absorbing all of this and applying it in your life? What did you start seeing?
Definitely. I started to see that I was withdrawing. I was, becoming more and more disconnected with even the people that I had connections to, just because it was swallowing me up. And so I'm trying to date, and being in a small town, again, you grew up with everyone since kindergarten. So there's no fresh energy. There's no, you feel like you're all related. And so dating wasn't really working out that well for me, and feeling that a lot of the people had different mentalities as well. Just I wanted to get into the depths of things, and people wanted to talk about cars or makeup or those kinds of things that I didn't resonate with at all. So it was very challenging.
And do you have headphones or something that or earbuds that you could put on or something? We're getting so much pickup.
Oh shoot, I do upstairs. I can go grab them.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's because it's raining. I don't know if it's on my side, but the connection is getting really bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But so I understand how you're feeling, and I'm sure that many more young people can understand what you're saying. When you want to be a part of something, when you want to develop these relationships, but you're in a space where you don't belong. It's not your crowd. It's not your people. You
Right.
know, sometimes we tend as young people or as inexperienced people, growing up in this world, everything is new to us. We don't know how to question ourselves, and we think maybe there's something wrong with us. Maybe
Right.
we're the weird ones.
Yes.
Everybody likes to talk about this. Everybody likes to do this. I don't. There's something wrong with me, right?
Totally. Yes.
So is that what was going on in your head? Were you like putting it on you? Were you thinking it was you? Or were you already self-aware at that age to say, no, no, this is me, this is what I like, and that's it? Or were you not there yet?
I was really torn because in part of me I kept thinking like these people are just not my people, right? But at the same time, people sometimes they were putting the blame on me, like I was the rebellious one and I was the one that just didn't want to try hard enough, or just had a bad attitude, or that kind of feedback that I was getting just gave me this confusion of, well, am I totally crazy, or should I be really thinking about why I feel this way, and is it valid, and do I have a reason to have these feelings?
So you actually started asking yourself these questions?
Yeah,
Wow, that's
absolutely.
amazing. And when you started asking yourself these questions, what started happening?
Well, at that point, I was still kind of spiraling out of control. So I would question, but then try to push it down with bad behaviors, numbing myself out, alcohol and skipping school, trying to just get away from that kind of introspection, because it didn't seem like it was going to do me any good. I felt stuck, like there's no way out of this situation. So what am I going to do?
Right, right. It's so funny because I always say that we sit on two ends, right? And I feel like there's a long line of everything in between. But we're as human beings, we have that feeling inside that we grow with, and I really believe it's our spirit which is trying to manifest itself and trying to help us, but we either run away from it because we can't handle those feelings. We don't know how to handle those feelings because we weren't taught. So we're
Right.
either running away from it or we're chasing the pleasure once
Yes.
again to escape it. So,
Right.
and we do this, and what the problem, that feeling isn't the problem. The problem is how we handle it. Because
Right.
whether we're running away from it, we're not solving the problem. And we
Exactly.
usually run to something, especially when we're young, to things that do not help us.
Mm-hmm.
It's either drugs, either alcohol, either behavior that's going to affect us in the future, whether it's skipping school, whether, it's hurting yourself, whether it's hanging out with people and participating in illegal activity. We don't know the consequences of these things when we're young, but we don't understand why we're feeling this way either. So
Right.
we just want to escape that feeling, and we think that it's going to make us feel better. But
Yeah.
what ended up happening to you? So you're participating in this behavior. Obviously, did it affect you at home? Did it affect you at school? Did it affect
Totally.
your life?
Yes. Yes. Actually, I kind of got to the point where I was just being so reckless that I kind of just didn't care about the consequences that much anymore. I just wanted to have a good time, and that was going to block out all of these feelings that I didn't want to handle, didn't want to face, didn't know how to face. So I ended up getting pregnant at 20 years old, and that changed everything for me. I decided that I was going to use that as an opportunity to give myself direction and start taking care of me, have a reason to take care of me, and put myself first. Because if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be the kind of mother that I needed to be for my son.
Wow. Okay. So isn't that crazy how life happens?
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy? So when this happened, obviously you're in a situation right now that you can't escape.
right.
Okay. So sometimes, I've seen this in a lot of stories that when I ask the person, okay, well, how did you handle this? And pretty much everyone tells me the same thing. I had no choice. And
Right.
sometimes that is where life pushes us because once
Yes.
again, we're ignoring our inner voice. We're ignoring the questions. And so life just keeps on giving you bigger chances till we're like, boom, we have no choice but to face it.
Exactly.
So what happened then? How did your life start changing at this point?
So then I decided, okay, that what I need to do is really dedicate some time to discussing and with myself deciding where it is and what it was that I needed to do to be happy, to make this life mine and take control of it, and see that I didn't need to be stuck anymore, that was just an illusion that I had. Well, and age related too. I mean, when you're a kid, you kind of are stuck, right? But by 20 years old, about to be a single mom, it's like, okay, well, the world is yours. Decide what you're going to do. And I just kept feeling drawn to moving away from the winters, the cold, the seasonal depression, all that part of, and being stuck in the small town. I couldn't afford to move to the city. So if I stayed in Canada, I was kind of going to have to struggle even more. But by moving to another country where I maybe would have better opportunities, I could use those opportunities to enrich my life in ways that I'd kind of always dreamt of. So I started self-help books and parenting classes and better nutrition and studying. I started studying Spanish. I started studying massage school and just anything that I could absorb to prepare, start saving money, start preparing myself to make a big change. So
yeah, but that's important. That's important because sometimes we feel helpless, and we think that we have no control and that things won't change. But what we don't realize is that when we start looking at life and start asking the questions and start saying, well, instead of complaining about, well, I don't like my life or I don't like my town, I can't get out, I don't have money, change the questions towards, okay, well, I don't like my town. These are not my people. I need to expand. How can I get out of this? And before I continue, I would like to thank everyone who's been watching, and thank you so much for supporting us. And we're so happy that you're here. We're interviewing Tanya. And Lena, thank you so much for joining us and supporting us and watching. And we're talking about how sometimes it becomes so difficult for us when we're in a situation to get out of it. And we tend to then sometimes feel a little sorry for ourselves and become the victims and say, well, oh, I can't do this, or this is like that, or this is like that, or there's nothing I can do. But when we start looking at things differently and we start asking questions and the right questions, then we start creating a plan and we take action, because that's the first thing. Asking, okay, well, like you did, how can I get out of here? Well, let me get a job. Let me study. Let me try to get to a point where I set goals and then I could take action. Yes. So what happened when you started going to school and studying and doing all of this?
It was beautiful. That's a great way to ask it, because this is a story that I've told so many times of how once I really decided what it was that I wanted, I got in alignment, and really started doing the work, the inner work, the self-help, the how do I fix any traumas that I had, to the best that I am able with the tools that I have. How can I improve myself, and mentally, spiritually, physically, everything? Then the doors just started opening, and one thing led to another, and I ended up in Mexico living my dream. I had the support of my family. My mother drove down with me with my son in my packed 1988 Jeep Cherokee with all my stuff in it. I had no plan, no job, but I just had the confidence because I'd been doing that work, and I just felt like I knew that this was going to work out for me. And when I arrived in Mexico, I found a community very fast. Within a week, I found a beautiful church with lots of people that just supported me from day one. And from then, my business just started to explode.
Wow. So you ended up moving, you ended up meeting the right people, and you ended up doing something you love.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's what happens. And that's what I want all young people to hear, that when you're in a situation, don't think that you can't get out of it. And actually, instead of asking yourself, and I say this all the time, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, okay, don't say this is happening to me. Say this is happening for me. And then when you say, why is this happening for me? Then your brain automatically starts trying to think of an answer, because that is what our brain does. Our brain wants to find solutions. It is solution oriented. But if you
Mm-hmm.
give it a bad question, it's going to give you a bad answer. So
Yes.
when you start asking the right questions, and this is another thing, because when we talk of the law of attraction, I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction, as you are too.
Yes.
We know that thoughts create actions. Thoughts are things.
Mm-hmm.
However, you cannot sit all day and fantasize about a dream car or a dream woman or a dream life. Okay, there has to be a point when you create that vision, you start setting goals, and you make a plan.
Right.
Because a thought without action actually turns into nothing. That's what it's a dream. It's a
Yeah.
dream. So it's taking action. So let's talk a little bit about then, now that we're to the happy point, what it is that you do now, because I'm very interested in that.
So I've been really fortunate that I had the experiences of my past to give me the foundation that I have now, and the compassion for people that have been in situations similar to mine when they're younger, or now as young adults or even adults that are struggling with anxiety or feeling depressed, or any of those types of emotions that are really heavy. And I've been able to use those experiences and have that experience to give them someone to talk to that they feel isn't going to judge them, can relate to them, and give tools, the same kind of tools that I use to help me pull out of that hole that I was kind of sinking into. So through massage, healing touch, the plant medicines, and a lot of my clients started asking me different about what kind of products they could use. The hemp is something that came up as a beautiful sacred option, this beautiful plant that our bodies are made for. And I was looking around, my clients wanted something in that realm, and I really didn't find any options until recently. Found a really great CBD product that I can wholeheartedly promote. And so with all these modalities put together, it's become like a really wonderful healing package that I can offer to my people.
Well, yeah, and I personally, I love Prime. We're both part of the same company, and what I love about CBD, and I'm so happy that it's becoming a norm, and that people are understanding that this medicine was put here on Earth to help us. And actually, for those of that don't know that much, we have cannabinoid receptors in our body. Those are neurotransmitters that we actually have. And I don't think we have any other plant receptor in our body except for this cannabinoid. So obviously cannabis is something that was put here for us, and we need to start taking it as a daily practice. What I like and what I want people to understand, especially with what's going on today, a lot of people that have been getting sick, and even those that have been dying from the coronavirus, they haven't been dying from the coronavirus. These people had a weakened immune system. These people had a weak chest or bronchial system. These people had a problem with their
health.
they were already weakened, already old, right? So it really wasn't the coronavirus that attacked them. It was the immunity.
Yes.
That is so important as a human being. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what this does for our immunity and how good it is. I mean,
Well, it's definitely putting us into homeostasis. It's basically, if you need one area of your body elevated, then it does that. If it needs to calm you in another area, it'll do that. So it's kind of perfect for everyone, man, woman, child, and beast even. Our pets even have these same
Exactly.
receptors.
And you know what's so funny? People don't understand this. We have cannabinoids in our system, okay? And that means that as a part of your system, you have to treat it. Now, because every marijuana, everything that has to do with marijuana has been illegal for so long, our bodies haven't had it in its system for decades, haven't had any hemp in the system for decades. Now, this is a problem. People don't understand that this is a major source of anxiety. That's why we have an anxiety-driven society. And I know people are going to think, oh, that's just because you love, hemp. And it's like, no, this is a fact. This is a scientific fact. So they've been doing studies. And the funny thing is that the government and the CIA have been doing studies for decades. They just don't promote them. Correct. They say they don't, but they do, and they're already out in the public record. So these tests have shown, okay, that when you feed your cannabinoid system, yes, okay, and you regulate it in your body, it's like vitamin C, it's like vitamin D, it's like all of these vitamins that we're supposed to have in our body, the omegas, all of these things, we're supposed to have them. We have deficiency. This is why the body becomes fatigued and weak. Right. Okay? Now, when you keep your cannabinoid system, how they say, fed, whether, you take a oil or so, or a tea, we have many different products. There's many different ways that you can take it right now. And you keep it at its normal state, because like I said, it's in balance. Well, then your body starts begin to balance itself, like she said, homeostasis. And what does this do? This is fantastic for anyone who has problems with anxiety. Anyone that has problems with insomnia, anyone that has problems with stomach, with digestion, okay, it just automatically regulates you. So instead of having to take a pill to sleep, a pill to wake up, a pill for this, a pill for that, if you would hormones, exactly. And so many women in menopause, this actually regulates you where you don't have to take anything. Exactly. You don't have to, and some people say, well, it's expensive. It's $100 for a bottle. Actually, when you take the time and you think about the time that you go to your doctor, that you pay the copay, that you pay the part of the prescription, that you pay in gas, in your time, and the secondary effects that all these medications have, it comes out more time, money effective, and better for your health to go with natural products.
Absolutely. And really the bottle can last a month and a half. Would you not pay $1, a couple dollars a day for really optimal health? For one product, you don't need this and this and this. Like you said, it's one product that can really deal with so many issues. If you're high anxiety, it'll calm you. If you're too fatigued, it'll lift you. So that's why I really stand, all these years 10 years I've been doing massage therapy plus, and all the different products that have come past me, I just couldn't find something that I could really stand behind. But this really just grabbed my attention when I saw how it can help everyone in so many different ways, almost every way that you can imagine: pain management, headaches. You just, the list goes on. Even externally, if you've got skin issues, it's amazing. This plant is just phenomenal. And as a textile industry, hemp is just, it's such a sacred plant that has gotten such a bad rap for so long, and it's time that we bring it back. It's time that this gets back into the limelight like it really deserves.
And once again, I want to thank everybody for watching. And I'm talking to Tanya, and we've been talking about her life, but now we're getting to the point that we're talking about what she does. And as a health practitioner, a therapist that deals with mind, body, and soul, she also deals with hemp products. And we're talking about the amazing, amazing effects that hemp has on the body. And I have been personally, since I've been working for teens for a couple of months, and teens and parents, I've been talking to a lot of parents who have been thankfully switching prescriptions to CBD. And the results, I'm going to start posting the results that some of these moms tell me, because it is fantastic. They've noticed, and this is very important, I want all parents to hear this, what their biggest, I guess, noticeable improvement that they've seen in their child is in their mood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Totally.
great for mood regulation.
Right.
Okay, so if you have a child that's experiencing these highs and these lows, and you keep on trying, because this is a problem with a lot of parents. Well, I tried this medication and it didn't work. It made them feel like this. Then I tried that one and it did nothing. And this trial and error, 6 months, 9 months go down the road, and your child still feels the same. Please be open to trying this. Yes, natural CBD oil and hemp products are going to be so big in our lives from here on in the future. And I really hope that more parents and more adults, all of us too, because some of us are closed up to the idea, even for ourselves, open up to the fact of think that this is what is going to regulate your immune system. So if you want to feel healthy, if you don't want to have a cold, like I don't even remember the last time I ever had a cold. I don't even
No.
get colds. I
Right.
don't even get colds. You
Haven't
know,
been sick since I got this product. And we're working now with cerebral palsy kids and seeing the huge results, like you said, with the parents telling us stories of how they slept through the night with one of the first doses, and they're so much calmer, and their bodies are starting to loosen, and they're able to start speaking, enunciating better, because this can relax the muscles and help them to even start walking better. The results are just amazing, and I've been posting a little bit about that, but to see firsthand, for the parents too, that they can sleep better because their child's feeling better. Plus, if they're taking it, they're sleeping better, repairing better, calming down, feeling more empowered, and that's just huge. It's life-changing.
yeah, there's two things I want to say right now. And everyone, thanks for watching. And this is very interesting. And I want you guys to understand what she's talking about. When we don't sleep, sometimes we think, and it's, you don't have to sleep 8 hours, but you do have to get what is called restful sleep. Because sometimes we think we've slept through the night, and we wake up and we're not feeling good. And what's going on is that whatever you had going on the night before, your brain is just bzzz. And although you think you've been sleeping, you haven't been getting a restful sleep. And this is why a lot of people carry fatigue. And this is what this product does. It is able to regulate all of that inside your body. Well, it brings your body to complete homeostasis. But the second thing, look at the effects of this product on the human body when even a child that has a sickness like what you're saying, and can you go on a little bit more into that, because I find that fascinating. So you guys have been giving it to children with this disease?
Yes, children who've had oxygen deprivation during the birthing stage, the cerebral palsy, it affects the muscles a lot. It affects often even their mental capabilities of time awareness, spatial awareness. They often never learn how money really functions or works, and often they don't even learn to speak or walk, depending on how severe it was. And so the founder of the foundation that I've been helping and volunteering with, and really promoting the CBDs and CBGs and hemp products to the CEO and founder, Carolina. She was born with cerebral palsy. She couldn't walk or talk when she was born. They said she probably never would. And her father just wouldn't give up, started building and inventing machines to try to stimulate her nervous system and get her moving, and it worked. And now she's she's studying psychology in the university in Cabo here in the Baja. She's just an amazing spokesperson for her foundation. And when they found this, when I showed them this product and we started giving it to the children, it's just been amazing, the difference within a few days or a week, and sometimes even the very first dose. We're noticing differences with the kids, especially in their sleep and their mood. It's phenomenal.
Wow, that's so amazing. And I hope that this project actually picks up and takes steam, because to show something like this if it can work for someone who's had something which people think that they're never going to be able to get their reproductive movements again, even something as important as your speech, and for that to be able to be cured by not having to have an invasive procedure. I don't know if you guys understand what this means for humanity.
Absolutely. When you see these kids, they used to cut the tendons of their ankles because their feet were so stuck that they didn't know how to fix it. And so now, by giving this CBD, it acts like a lubricant to their joints, to their muscles, because everything's starting to flow again, especially the nervous system with the CBGs specifically, and with the nanotechnology that this product specifically has. It goes directly to the nervous system fast. It absorbs like almost 95 or more percent. Regular CBDs, often you're just getting maybe 5 to 7%. So with this product, wow, it's sparking up neuroregenerative for children that have had this brain injury from birth. It's rebuilding their neurons, and I'm not a doctor, but I get so excited to think of how this is affecting and impacting the lives of the kids. They're not having surgeries, not having to go through life feeling like they're never going to be hurt again, because now the lights are coming on, and they're starting to be able to verbalize better and articulate.
Yeah, I'm so happy, and that's why I always want to promote it, and I want to promote this product in particular. And we will be posting a link of Prime My Body so that you guys can see. And we also have samples available, so if you guys are interested in a sample, you can always try it. But what I find fascinating about this is the fact that if it's able to help a child with this problem, imagine when we start doing studies. Yes. All the things that we're going to find out that it actually does. And why it makes me happy is because I don't like the way the system is set up. You go to a doctor and they don't really look at you as a person or as a body. It's either give you a prescription or cut you up. And honestly, they really tell you if they can't give you a prescription or cut you, they don't know what to do with you.
Right.
They don't know what to do with you. And there's so much more to us than that. I mean, look at this. Something as a disease like this, that we've taken it as, oh, there's nothing that we can do. And look, what a natural alternative solution that we've always had that has been taken away from us.
Right. Absolutely.
Thankfully, yes, go ahead.
Oh, so really what matters is that we continue learning and studying and seeing what the effects. We have a study with the ex-NFL players, that brain scans that show within 20 minutes or less that the brains are actually changing color from an inflamed state of red and pink to this green, blue, normal, calming, less swollen, less inflamed brains. So having these tools is amazing to show the power.
Well, what everyone needs to understand, I know a lot about this because, I've dealt so much with hospitals and illness, and surgeries my entire life. But the cause of illness and sickness in the body is inflammation.
Right. Yes.
That's what you guys need to understand. Inflammation is the killer.
Yes.
That is the beginning of disease.
Mm-hmm.
And we get inflammation by prescription medication, by the foods we eat, by certain chemicals, the chemicals that we use. People are not even aware of the products that we use, that we put in our body, that we put in our home, that we put in our animals. All of this is the major source of cause of inflammation, and inflammation is the number one cause of disease. Sometimes it's not even the disease. You might have a certain disease and the disease is not killing you. It's the actual inflammation that the disease is causing. And a way to alleviate inflammation is through healthy products, is by going organic. I always say, stay away from the center of the grocery store, guys. Stay away from the center of the grocery store, okay? Yeah. Everything that comes in a plastic, in a bag, or in a can, just try to stay away from. I know it's really hard. Yeah. I know it's really hard, but try. And then the second thing is, if we can, and I'm not saying to stop your medications. If you guys have a heart problem, if you guys, need to take a medication, please do not stop. But I'm saying, if you have anxiety, if you can't sleep, if it's something like that, try these products. Don't stop the other stuff, but introduce this into your life. Be open to it and see the results and write things down. Because sometimes we think in 3 days, oh, nothing happened. Write
Right.
it down. Write down
Subtle.
every day. Right? I started today. I took it. I don't feel anything. Day 2. I don't feel anything. Day 3. Day 4. Day 5. Well, you know what? I woke up a little bit happier this morning because I saw the studies too from the NFL players. And what fascinated me, and I can't remember the name of who, because they did a study of over 30 of them. But what I loved was one of them said that even this product even saved his marriage because of the mood. And he hadn't realized how this he was all the time. And what you have to understand is if you have a certain job, if you're a football player, if you're a stockbroker, okay, if you're a person that's on go, go, go in sales all the time, you don't even realize that your nervous system, we have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Well, one, it's like the yin and yang. We tend to take more yin in than the yang. And although it might not be bad, but you're feeling like this. And you don't realize that you're a little jumpy, that you're snappy, that you're quick-tempered. You don't realize that all of this can be normalized. And you could always be in a, like you say, in a homeostatic point.
Yes.
You can reach homeostasis with these products. To me, it's like a vitamin. I don't even look at it as anything else. It's like something that I take every morning as a part of like when I drink my water with my lemon. I do everything that my dad used to teach me when I was a kid, but I have it as an everyday, like someone takes their omega.
Yeah. And I think, the meditation is also the massage that I work with, any kind of lymphatic drainage, those are also tools that fit in with the package. It's not just one product or one miracle thing. It's all of the lifestyle. It's slowing down and realizing that, hey, I haven't stopped thinking about the future or reminiscing about the past. I haven't lived in the moment much today. And give your brain a break. It's a muscle. It needs to rest. Even when you're sleeping, it's still going. It's still trying to repair and fix and work. So by giving it a moment or 5 minutes even of just silence and quiet and downtime, those tools, all of those kinds of things can make a huge difference in your health as well. But putting them together is a powerhouse.
Exactly. It's being able to incorporate everything. I'm also very happy that meditation is becoming popular.
Yes.
Because we need to unplug, we need to unwind. And sometimes, like I said earlier, we think we're getting sleep, but we're not getting restful sleep. And we need to go through cycles. We need to have 7 cycles in our sleep so that we actually feel completely rested and that our body is able to regenerate and recuperate and restore. And what's happening with most of us is we're getting about 3 to 4 cycles. And this is what the studies have been showing, that most people get 3 to 4 cycles. That's why we live on coffee and Red Bull. What you're doing is then when you drink the coffee and the Red Bull, you're weakening a system that is not charged. Okay, it's like a battery that's half full. You're not really going to get the same effect out of it, no matter what you do. So exactly. So we need to do this. Go ahead.
So really, it's what's important. I love everything you're saying. I totally resonate with so much of that because we're teaching our kids that it's cool. And you look at the commercials and all these high cool activities that these Red Bull people are doing and all the money that's being filtered into that kind of teaching. And yet when you look at this epidemic, this pandemic we're going through right now, it's very rare. Have you heard the CDC or the WHO talk about boosting your immunity? All they talk about is wearing a mask and staying away from people. Well, that's not the whole package. We need to look at the lifestyle and how can we boost ourselves so that we can fight this situation. And so by educating ourselves, never stop learning, keep growing. That's going to keep your mind active and healthy, and putting calm music on. These are the kinds of things that really helped me to get through that period of time when I was so low that I didn't know where to go, kind of thing. And I started listening to Tony Robbins or any kind of motivational speaker that would just give me the kind of mental verbiage that I needed to tell myself, you know?
Yes, it's so true. And this is really important. I say for teens, but actually for anybody, because what happens is it is the verbiage. And we're so used to saying certain things, and the mind is just, it repeats patterns. That's what it is. It's a pattern driven mechanism. Okay. And it needs to create patterns for all the other functions that it has in the body. But what it does is it tends to do the same repetition in the mind. And that can be negative when we're accustomed to thinking certain thoughts. So if it's hard for you at the beginning and you notice that, oh my God, like I can't stop thinking about this. I can't stop thinking about, my problem at school, or that I failed this test, or that I don't like how I look, or, that somebody said this. Well, in the beginning, it's going to be a little hard to control your mind. But what you can do is find an outside source. This is how I started. When I couldn't control my thoughts, you know what I did? I literally brainwashed myself. What I would do is, oh my God, I can't take my thoughts anymore, and I can't stop it. I would literally say, like you said, I would put on either Tony Robbins. I'm a big Abraham Hicks fan.
Yes, me too.
So I will put on Abraham, and literally, like some crazy person, while I was doing everything in the house, I had Abraham on my ears for like 3 hours.
Yes,
So,
me too.
wow. And then I would start calming down.
Yep.
Calm down. And I would do this like they do in any type of training.
Yes.
If you have a training, let's say that you want to get prepared for a marathon, you're going to have to do intensive training every day till your body becomes accustomed. Our mind works the exact same way. We're just not used to training the mind how we are accustomed to training the body. But use this, and it's a great tool. So when you're depressed, we have a tendency to want to listen to sad music. But when you broke up with your girlfriend, you just want to listen to that song that reminds you of her and cry. But it's,
and that's okay, but for a little bit, don't live there.
Right? It's okay. We all do this. We all do this, but try to fight that and say, you know what? No, I'm going to listen to the opposite. I'm going to put on happy music. I'm going to put on something totally not romantic.
Allow yourself to grieve that first, right? But then move on, move out of it, and try to find something to motivate you into a happier vibration, really.
Exactly. No, of course we're not, and this is what I say with everything. But what I say with pills, with food, with relationships, with everything. Everything has a process. Yeah. You cannot ignore what's happened. You have to take stock of it, and you have to take stock and feel it. And that's the best thing. Don't repress it. Feel it. Actually feel it and mourn it. But after you've been able to mourn it, because they say that pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice.
True.
And that is true.
Yeah.
We sometimes choose to stay in that state because we become accustomed to it. And sometimes our reptilian brain, it doesn't know. It's like, oh, I'm accustomed to feeling this way. Let's just go back to yesterday.
Yes.
So it's going to take a little bit of an inner battle, of an inner struggle to fight that. But use things that we have at our disposal, like she's saying, listen to music, do something positive, put on something that motivates you, whatever person or thing or movie that is. But find something that's going to help you get in a better way, because that's the whole purpose of life is trying to find a way that we are happy, that we're fulfilled. And it starts with self-care, with being good to ourselves. Sometimes we don't love ourselves enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That resonates so much with me. It's exactly kind of my story. I just got filling my head with positive things and telling myself that I can do the, whatever affirmations that didn't feel too far from the truth, that I could little by little bring into my awareness over and over again, kind of self-hypnotizing, exactly like you said. So, brainwash yourself in the good way, in a positive way, and it works.
Yeah, we were brainwashed. We are brainwashed, and it's, I don't say it in a bad way, but if you're listening to the news all day, notice after a couple of weeks how you're going to feel and what you're going to talk about.
Right.
It's natural. It's what our brain does. So now that you know how the brain works, now that you know that it works by patterns, by programming, that's why television, guys, is called television programming for a reason.
Right.
Because that's what it does. This is what our brain does. It's a computer, and it programs things for us in order to simplify our life. You see, it doesn't do it to hurt us. It does it to simplify our life. Imagine if every time you had to tie your shoe, you had to remember, oh my God, I got to do the left. No. So your brain is like, you know what? I'm going to create a pattern, and that way you never have to think again. It becomes subconscious. But this is what happens with our thoughts, good and bad.
Right. Autopilot.
Exactly. It's the autopilot. Exactly. We have the two modes. It's the autopilot that usually takes over. So guys, I want to thank you so much for everyone who supported us, the watchers who are actually watching right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys got a lot of value of this. And if you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about, whether it's massage therapy, whether it's energy healing, whether it's hemp products, whether it's the CBD or the CBGOs that we're talking about, contact Tanya, contact me. I mean, I'm a therapist too. I'm a massage therapist. That's why we have so much.
That's fantastic.
I love it. I believe that this is how we take care of ourselves, and we avoid things from happening. Like, for example, something like this. If you want to avoid another thing in the future, then what you do is you prepare yourself. So whenever the emergency happens, you're already equipped. And how we do that is by preparing our minds, by preparing our bodies, and that starts with our immune system. When it comes to our minds, it's, to me, personal development. It's affirmation, it's journaling. When it comes to our bodies, it's taking care of our body from the inside. What you put in is what you're going to get out. So what you eat, what you drink, okay, how you feed your body when it comes to your immune system, when it comes to your organs. That is what matters. That is how we prepare ourselves and we protect ourselves when emergency or when disaster strikes, you know?
Absolutely.
So with that being said, guys, it was such a pleasure. I will see you guys on Saturday with our next hot seat guest.
Thank you so much, Naomi, for having me. I really appreciate your time. And thank you everyone for showing up and hanging out with us.
No, thank you so much, Tanya. I'm so glad that we finally got to do this. And yes. All right. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.